Good morning, my name is Valdis from Data. I'm joined here today with Janth from Dell Technologies, and today we will be discussing Azure Stack HCI and why Azure Stack HCI on Dell Technologies. Good morning, Janth. Please explain why you are the expert on Azure Stack HCI and Dell Technologies.
Hey, thanks, Valdis. Thanks for having me here. I work at Dell as a senior principal engineering technologist. I also happen to be a Microsoft MVP, which is Microsoft Most Valuable Professional, certified under the Microsoft Hybrid portfolio. Been with Dell for the last 15 years, enjoying my journey through the hybrid, which is particularly Microsoft Hybrid journey. I also act as an evangelist from Dell, evangelizing the Microsoft Hybrid portfolio.
Can you please explain to everyone what exactly Azure Stack HCI is?
It's an operating system which runs on a hyper-converged infrastructure. And the best part about Azure Stack HCI, it's delivered as an Azure service right from Azure. So if customers just log into portal.azure.com, they will see Azure Stack HCI is actually one of the services that runs in Azure. What Microsoft really did about Azure Stack HCI is they kind of branched out from Windows Server. So Windows Server Storage Spaces Direct, which existed way back in 2016, had all of these components such as Hyper-V, Storage Spaces Direct, software-defined networking. So what they did, they branched out from the Windows Server and they made it a purpose-built operating system to solve some of the virtualization needs of customers today. It's a beautiful segue for those customers who are really in those transitional path from the age-old infrastructure into a hyper-converged infrastructure platform.
Janth, can you explain some of the use cases for Azure Stack HCI in the small to medium business space?
That's a great question too. So I already spoke about transformation from the age-old infrastructure, which is basically modernizing the 3-tier SAN into hyper-converged infrastructure. So that's one of the great use cases that we are seeing these days. The other one is definitely about VDI, especially a lot of these organizations post-COVID era are trying to enable remote connected workplace, and AVD, which is Azure Virtual Desktop, is probably one of the most popular workloads that run in Azure today, and that's now made available on Azure Stack HCI as well. The best part about Azure Stack HCI is its extended edge use cases, where customers really don't have solid connectivity with Azure, and they want to kind of harness the data that's getting generated at the edge. And of course, modernization, right? Who doesn't want to speak about modernization? So modernization is at the crux of every organization's strategy, right? They really want to kind of modernize their applications. They don't want to be left behind running a bunch of applications on a virtualized platform. So AKS, which is the Azure Kubernetes Service, one of the third most popular container distribution out there in the industry, is now available on Azure Stack HCI as well. The other one that I see a lot of interest, especially around customers, is the database, which is the SQL database, and SQL database as a managed instance. So which means it's available as platform as a service, even on Azure Stack HCI. That's something that they enjoy today, using SQL managed instance in public Azure. The same experience is now available on Azure Stack HCI. And the last but not the least, how can I not speak about it, which is the AI ML workloads, where a lot of customers want to harness the data, and AI ML services are also now made available on Azure Stack HCI.
You mentioned certified platforms earlier. What exactly are these?
If you Google Azure Stack HCI hardware catalog, so you'll find a bunch of partners where Microsoft has certified a number of partners, where Dell is obviously the #1 partner in that category. There are broadly 3 types of categories that a lot of these partners can sell their solutions under: validated solutions, integrated systems, and then the premier solutions. The validated solutions is probably the quickest path for any hardware partner out there to certify their platforms. So all they need to do is just do a one-time validation effort, certify the Azure Stack HCI operating system, whichever the version that's running there at that particular point of time, certify that version and be done with it. So they don't support the customer at the cluster level, but they only care about the hardware that they're selling. So as you can see, the value of Azure, validated system is generally very low. It's because a lot of customers have to do a lot of this prep work, getting to install Azure Stack HCI clusters on these validated nodes. And then there's the next category, which is called the integrated systems. Now, integrated systems takes this customer experience to the next level, where the hardware partner is responsible to pretty much sell, order, manage, deploy. Everything is owned by the hardware partner. And the experience for a customer just to stand up the cluster is much better than the integrated systems. Now, the next category, the overall experience for customer experience, where they're trying to focus more on their business outcomes rather than worry about the traditional IT, this is where the Premier Solutions really shines. So Premier Solutions, you take pretty much all of the goodness of integrated systems, and not just that, you also do a lot of the continuous validations around it. So one of the challenges a lot of customers have today, there is a lot of cadence coming from Microsoft and hardware partners in terms of firmware, the operating systems, and so on. It's really hard for them to catch up and be always in a validated state. So this is where Premier Solutions shines. So Premier Solutions make sure that these patches are constantly validated and certified by companies like Dell. And the good news is, Dell is the only partner today in the market to sell Premier Solutions.
So you spoke about APEX Cloud Platform for Azure. What exactly is this?
The APEX Cloud Platform for Microsoft Azure is a game changer, in my opinion. APEX Cloud Platform is the only platform today which is sold under the premier category of Azure Stack HCI solutions by Microsoft. What we did with Microsoft, we actually partnered and collaboratively built this solution right from ground up, which means we had those seamless CI/CD pipelines going, exchanging the development code between the two companies. And these big companies came together to actually build this amazing platform. Like I said, it's the first premier solutions for Azure Stack HCI in the market today. What it does is it actually provides the fastest path for those customers who are looking to modernize their journey. The last but not the least, it's the only platform that can independently scale your storage. Yes, you heard that right. In fact, one of the challenges that a lot of customers face today, especially on a hyperconverged infrastructure, if you want to independently scale your compute and storage, you just have to keep adding nodes because it's a HCI node. With the APEX Cloud Platforms, we gave that flexibility to our customers where they can independently scale their storage as well. Think about those use cases where there's a massive storage growth that's happening, but they don't really necessarily need that much of compute, right? So you can independently scale that storage alone while you're solving your traditional HCI use cases as well. So in a nutshell, APEX Cloud Platform for Microsoft Azure is really a game changer in my opinion, because it is the premier solutions, and that's why it probably has the quickest path for any customers who are trying to modernize their on-premise infrastructure into the more modern Azure Stack HCI.
And so what makes APEX Cloud Platform unique in the market?
APEX Cloud Platform, like I said, is the only cloud platform that is certified as a premier solutions under the Microsoft HCI certified catalog. And it's also the only platform today that's actually collaboratively built with Microsoft, which has never happened before. Even those CI/CD pipelines, the way engineering teams came together to build this product was second to none. And also, APEX Cloud Platform supports the latest version of the Azure Stack HCI, and we are the first one to support the 23H2. So the latest OS for Azure Stack HCI is 23H2, which was released about a couple of months back. And today, we're the only partner to actually certify the 23H2 on APEX Cloud Platform. And to say the least, the way we have packaged the solution, it really has that premierness to it. In the way, for example, the way we do the lifecycle management. In fact, if you look at one of the challenges a lot of customers had, the lag of cadence that happens between Microsoft updates and Dell updates, there can be states where the system may not be continuously validated. So this is where APEX Cloud Platforms takes us to the next level, where this platform is continuously validated. I'll give you one example. So let's say Microsoft releases a software patch, and it happens to be a critical security patch. And that needs to go into these APEX Cloud Platforms as quickly as they can, because customers want those critical hotfixes. So this goes in within the 4-hour window. So which means Microsoft is going to certify this hotfix for Dell and certify this hotfix to be ready to be deployed in Azure Stack HCI solutions. And the next one, obviously, I spoke about the independent scale of storage, right? Which is obviously the first in the industry today. So these are some of the things that we feel will add tremendous value for a lot of these customers who are really looking at not only just modernizing, but they're looking at the value of proposition of Azure Stack HCI solution, and the overall outcome in terms of their focus on their business outcomes is going to be significantly higher with APEX Cloud Platforms.
So when focusing on the customers, what benefits do you see for them moving to Azure Stack HCI?
That's a great question and also very, very important questions for a lot of our partners and customers trying to transition or modernize their on-premise infrastructure. They want to see a value. They want to see a value as to why I should be really moving into Microsoft Azure Stack HCI. So this is where Microsoft extended a lot of these benefits. They're bringing those benefits to on-premises as well. For example, let's say if a customer wants to take advantage of extended security updates. If you look at Windows Server 2012, Windows Server 2012 is already end of support. Soon you will see Windows Server 2016 as well. So customers have to pay a lot of money just to get that extended security updates in their infrastructure. So the benefit that they have moving into Azure Stack HCI is that they get 3 years of free extended security updates. That's a big one to me, right? And there's a lot of cost saving as well if you look at it, especially bringing some of these workloads into Azure Stack HCI. And the best part is Azure Stack HCI, you can literally waive off the host fee, which is $10 or AUD 15 per core per month through applying some of the software assurance licenses on top of it. So if you look at most customers today, majority of the workloads are running on Windows, and they generally have Windows Server Data Center with software assurance. So they can use those software assurance cores, exchange them with Azure Stack HCI CPU cores, and they get free host fee completely. And the AKS, like we spoke about modernization journey and all of that, AKS plays a very critical role here, and AKS is free on Azure Stack HCI along with Windows Server Data Center and software assurance. And last but not the least, Windows Server unlimited guest licenses. So with Windows Server Data Center, you also get unlimited guest licensing as well, which means you can spin up unlimited Windows guest OSs on top of Azure Stack HCI.
Okay, we've looked at the technology, we've looked at what is on offer. How do you see these products and benefits fitting into the small to medium business space?
What I have seen is Azure Stack HCI has become a synonym with most of the SMBs these days. One of the biggest reasons where Azure Stack HCI is really very popular among SMBs is it can start from just a single node. So if you look at the Azure Stack HCI deployment, 90% of Azure Stack HCI deployments are up to about 8 nodes. Hasn't gone much beyond that. Close to 70% of them are just a couple of nodes deployed in the edge locations, factory floors, somewhere in the middle of the ocean. All of these edge scenarios, very, very popular. Like I said, edge is growing at a rapid pace, 70% of data growth that's expected according to IDC by 2025. So these are some of the reasons why customers really want to kind of harvest the data that's getting generated at the edge. And also most customers, if you look at it, they're trying to optimize the cost. Cost is the biggest driver today for most organizations. So they're trying to see, hey, you know what, I don't want to be vendor locked in, that's great, but they're also looking at what are the ways for me to move from one cloud stack to the other while I'm saving a ton of cost. And that's where, like I spoke about some of the hybrid benefits, that's where really customers see a huge value, especially in cost savings, plus they have this presence in Azure. They get the single pane of glass kind of an experience because it's all, like I said, Azure Stack HCI is delivered as an Azure service. So they manage that infrastructure. It doesn't matter where the Azure Stack HCI clusters are running. They all are managed today right from Azure portal. And Microsoft has taken this to the next level with 23H2, where they're given the deployment and the management experience right from Azure portal. So you sit in Azure portal, you deploy your Azure Stack HCI clusters, maybe thousands of edge clusters that are located, and you manage them right from Azure portal as well, just like you would manage an Azure resource. This is where Microsoft really is doing a lot of work, especially not just talking about features, but making customers' journey as seamless as possible. For example, let's say somebody is invested in a different cloud stack. How do we really get those workloads migrated into Azure Stack HCI? So they have something known as Azure Migrate, which is probably one of the most popular tools today in public Azure. So Azure Migrate is now available on Azure Stack HCI as well. So which means you can start moving Hyper-V workloads into Azure Stack HCI, and VMware is right now in private preview. So which means customers who are looking to move from VMware workloads into Azure Stack HCI, you can do that through Azure Migrate as well. So lots of goodies that are coming in Azure Stack HCI way, and this is loved by our SMB customers because they can start as small with very, very little capital expenditure, and they love the pay-as-you-go kind of service that is offered by some of the Azure services as well.
Janth, thanks for sharing that today. How would you summarize Azure Stack HCI and Dell for everyone?
Like we discussed, Voldis, APEX Cloud Platform is the only premier solutions that's available in the market today for Azure Stack HCI solution. It's built on the common hardware infrastructure based on PowerEdge MC nodes today. So we provide that flexibility to our customers by building that commonality of the hardware. And the best part about the APEX Cloud Platform is, like I said, it can independently scale storage, which is the first in the industry today. No HCI has been able to achieve this kind of a thing. So customers can independently scale their storage as well. And last but not the least, the integrated lifecycle experience and the automated support experience that's all baked into the platform is unmatched, in my opinion, today. I think these are some of the features that a lot of our partners and customers should really seriously consider as to why APEX Cloud Platform is the best today in the market to run Azure Stack HCI clusters.
Thanks for watching, everyone. If you have any further questions around Azure Stack HCI on Dell Technologies, please feel free to reach out to the Data Dell team and we will be happy to answer any of your questions on this technology.